6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala, read by Soundi Thavam. The President says he will not be involved in any local government election activities. The Attorney General to be consulted on the division at the National Election Commission over the local government polls. Litro to reduce LP gas prices today. The national flag at half-mast today for Pope Emeritus's funeral. The WHO warns about underrepresenting COVID deaths in China. The second T20 between Sri Lanka and India will be played today in Karachi. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has officially informed the United National Party that he will not participate in any voting activities in the local government elections that will be held to appoint members for municipalities, city councils and local councils, stating that he has been given a mandate not to vote but to recover the country from the abyss it has fallen into within a year. The President has emphasized to the UNP leaders that he is never ready to act outside that mandate. President Ranil Wickremesinghe, leader of the UNP, has informed his stance when he met the senior leaders of the party in Colombo Tuesday evening. President Wickremesinghe has also informed the UNP leaders that if the party has to contest the local government election, he will only traditionally take the chairmanship of the working committee meeting that will take the decisions for that purpose. Apart from that, President Ranil Wickremesinghe further stated that he will not participate in any poll work related to the local government elections. The President also said that if the United National Party participates in the local government election, it is appropriate to put 40% of new faces in the list of candidates. The President also stressed that money has been allocated for salaries and allowances for only 4,000 members who are appointed to local government bodies including the municipal councils, urban councils and Pradesha Sabhas, and said that the rest should make it clear whether they will work for free without salaries and allowances. The government has decided to consult the Attorney General regarding the division within the National Election Commission as the dates for local government election are very close. The government has reached this decision in view of the division within the National Elections Commission at a time when the Gazette calling for the local government election was about to be issued. It has been learnt that the main reason for the serious internal division is that a section is of the view that the election should be held, while another group has declared that the election should not be held due to lack of money. Litro Lanka Gas yesterday said that the price of domestic LP gas will be reduced from today. Company Chairman Mudita Piri said that the price of a domestic LP gas cylinder weighing 12.5 kilograms will be reduced by over 200 rupees. The company will announce the new prices later today. He noted that the prices are being revised based on the pricing formula introduced by the government. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has instructed the Public Administration Ministry Secretary to instruct all government institutions to fly the national flag at half-mast as a mark of respect for the late Pope Benedict XVI today, when the body of the late Pope Benedict XVI will be laid to rest. The government has decided to exempt senior citizens' bank interest income of less than 100,000 rupees from withholding tax. State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya said the government has decided not to subject the bank interest income of senior citizens below 100,000 rupees to withholding tax. This decision has been taken after considering the difficulties they are facing due to this tax. The Election Commission of Sri Lanka says that applications for postal voting at the 2023 local government elections will be accepted from eligible voters from today until the 23rd of this month. The Election Commission body announced that nominations for the local government polls would be accepted from January 18th to 12 noon on January 21st. Meanwhile, accepting election deposits of the candidates will begin on January 4th and continue until 12 noon on January 20th, according to a press release by the Election Commission. However, out of the 341 local government bodies, nominations are not being called from the Alpitiya Pradesha Sabha as its 5-year tenure is yet to expire. That concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amaraveera yesterday said the funds exceeding 10 billion rupees that is said to be spent on holding the local government elections should be given to purchase paddy for this season. Making a special statement, the minister said that a special program is in place to purchase paddy for this season. Funding for the purchase of paddy for this season has become a major problem. Quote, although we promised the farmers that produce is being purchased by the government, it could not be done properly due to financial difficulties, unquote. And that came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watchlight. Nanotechnology water treatment plants to the north to solve the drinking water issue. Resettlement Division of the Ministry of Urban Development and Housing says 50 nanotechnology water treatment plants will be installed to control the kidney disease prevalent in the northern province and to solve the drinking water problem of the people in those areas, and came to you in Watchlight. On to a bulletin of world news making headlines this morning. The WHO warns about underrepresenting COVID deaths in China. California declares emergency as massive storm slams into coast. And writer Faye Weldon dies aged 91. The World Health Organization has warned that China is underrepresenting the true impact of COVID in the country, in particular deaths. The removal of most restrictions last month has led to a surge in cases. But China has stopped publishing daily cases data and has announced only 22 COVID deaths since December, using its own strict criteria. The WHO Emergencies Director Dr. Michael Ryan said China's figures underrepresent the true impact of the disease in terms of hospital admissions, in terms of ICU admissions, and particularly in terms of death. China last month changed its criteria for what constitutes a COVID death, meaning only those who die of respiratory illnesses are counted. This goes against WHO guidance, which encourages countries to count the number of excess deaths, how many people die, than would normally be expected based on death figures before the pandemic hit. California's governor has declared a state of emergency as residents brace for a major storm, the second to drench the state in the past week. The storm is expected to develop into a bomb cyclone and spark rain and snowstorms that could cause flooding and landslides in already soaked areas. Northern California, which saw a deadly levee breach over the weekend, is expected to be hardest hit. The storm is also bringing strong winds to areas up and down the U.S. West Coast. The National Weather Service has issued a flood watch and high wind warning for the entire Bay Area in Northern California, saying that the gusts are expected to down trees and cause power outages. Writer Faye Weldon, best known for books including 1983's The Life and Loves of a She-Devil, has died at the age of 91. The author published more than 30 novels across her career, as well as collections of short stories, films for television, and pieces of journalism. Weldon was born in the UK but was brought up in New Zealand. She published her first novel in 1967 and went on to be shortlisted for the Booker Literature Prizes for her works Praxis and Worst Fears. Weldon's witty, cutting and mischievous stories about the lives and loves of women often drew on her own colourful and turbulent private life and relationships. Back to the headlines of the world news. The WHO warns about underrepresenting COVID deaths in China. California declares emergency as massive storm slams into coast. And writer Faye Weldon dies aged 91. That concludes this bulletin of world news.
Development news.
Sri Lanka has sought India's technical assistance to boost the local milk production, and a meeting in this regard took place between the Indian High Commissioner Gopal Bagle and President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday. The President's Media Division said the discussions focused on raising national milk production and providing necessary technical support to the production of liquid milk in Sri Lanka, together with the National Dairy Development Board of India and Amul Milk Company. The objective is to make Sri Lanka self-sufficient in milk and milk products in the long term, with short and medium-term goals to double the local milk production. That came to you in Development News.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
The second T20 between Sri Lanka and India will be played today at Karachi. India won the first match in a nail-biting end. And Novak Djokovic is set to miss Indian Wells and the Miami Open after the United States extended its requirement for international visitors to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Proof of vaccination will be required to enter the country at least until April 10th, but Serbia's Djokovic has previously said he is unvaccinated. The Indian Wells and the Miami Open, two of the most prestigious tournaments on the tennis calendar outside the Grand Slams, starts on the 6th and the 20th of March. Former world number one Djokovic, 35, is currently in Australia, 12 months after he was deported from the country before the Australian Open because of his vaccination status. That's sports news. We'll look at business news next.
Let us turn this difficult time that we are facing now to a positive opportunity. We must rise up as a nation in 2023. NSB will extend its fullest support for you to rise with confidence. NSB, the safest place for you.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Meta has been fined €390 million for breaking EU data rules. The Irish Data Protection Commission says the way Meta asked permission to use people's data for ads on Facebook and Instagram was unlawful. Meta, which owns both platforms, has 3 months to change how it obtains and uses data to target ads. Meta says it is disappointed and intends to appeal, stressing that the decision does not prevent personalized advertising on its platforms. The regulator said that Facebook and Instagram cannot force consent by saying consumers have to accept how their data is used or leave the platform. That's business news, economic news to follow.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank.
Let us turn this difficult time that we are facing now to a positive opportunity. We must rise up as a nation in 2023. NSB will extend its fullest support for you to rise with confidence. NSB, the safest place for you.
Economic News, courtesy of
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
The Urban Development and Housing Minister Prasanna Ranatunga has instructed the Urban Development Authority officials to accelerate the process of the issuance of title deeds for 24 housing projects built under the Urban Regeneration Programme and 2 housing projects built under the Middle Income Housing Project in the Colombo City and Kolanawa Municipal Council areas. Accordingly, the UDA says that the process of the issuance of title deeds can be completed before the end of this year. Meanwhile, the UDA has commissioned 14,607 housing units, which have been constructed under 24 housing projects centred on the Colombo City and Kolanawa Municipal Council under the Urban Regeneration Programme. Accordingly, the UDA further says that it has planned to start the process of giving title deeds to all the buyers who have paid all the money owed to them. That's economic news.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LOLC Finance will continue to innovate with the next generation digitalization of financial services, delivering a superior customer experience. Weather report.
A change in the prevailing dry weather condition is expected. Showers will occur at times in the eastern and Uva provinces and in the Polonnaruwa and Matale districts. Fairly heavy showers, about 50 millimeters, can be expected at several spells of showers will occur in the northern province and in the Anuradhapura district. Showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places in the western, Sabaragamu and northwestern provinces, and in the Gaul, Matara, Kandy and Nuwara districts during the afternoon or night. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The President says he will not be involved in any local government election activities. The Attorney General to be consulted on division at the National Election Commission over the local government polls. Litro to reduce LP gas prices today. The national flag at half-mast today for Pope Emeritus's funeral. The WHO warns about underrepresenting COVID deaths in China. And the second T20 between Sri Lanka and India will be played today in Karachi. That concludes this morning's news broadcast.